What's up, everybody? It's JayViper here. IGN released a review for Concord, and the score's kind of baffling. We're going to check out the review video and see what they have to say and see if it makes any sense at all. Also, at the end, we're going to go over a little bit of a reason why are they doing this. It's pretty interesting, and if this is an interesting video to you, don't forget to like the video and subscribe, and if you want, hit that notification bell. I'd love to see you back. Well, here it is, ladies and gentlemen, the Concord review by IGN. Let's check it out.
Grab a copy of Overwatch off some dusty GameStop shelf and rub it under the musky armpit of the Guardians of the Galaxy's Peter Quill, and you might have something close to the feeling of Concord. As competitive hero shooters go, this sci-fi contender from Sony plays...
Are they trying to say the game is gritty? Like, gritty? Okay.
...it quite safe.
Okay, so they played it safe.
Immediately charming characters rendered in gobsmackingly... Complete with
immediately charming characters. What is charming here?
Charming characters.
What is he talking about? What is charming about the plain robot or the basic chick you see on the street or these two people? Nothing.
Rendered in gobsmackingly beautiful cutscenes and ability
So I will say their cutscenes are pretty good. They do have good... They spent a lot of money on their cutscenes.
Based PvP combat that never addresses why those characters are fighting one another when they're clearly allies in said cutscenes.
Yeah.
Just because it doesn't offer much in the way of innovation.
That doesn't really matter, right? Why are they fighting each other when they're friends? So many games do that. Apex does this. Overwatch does this. It doesn't matter. Team, even Halo. It's a bunch of Master Chiefs fighting each other, or elites can be on your team. It doesn't matter.
Just because it doesn't offer much in the way of innovation doesn't mean Concord isn't fun to play. I've sunk over 40 very enjoyable hours into the sweaty shooter, and it overwhelmingly nails its class-based gunplay. That rock-solid foundation certainly carries it quite a long way, but with...
That statement is still bothering me when he says it's not innovative. This is $40, right? You have innovative games that are free. You have to get people to buy your $40 game when your competition is free. That's damning.
With only a few by-the-numbers game modes and no killer features to shake up the genre, it still has a lot of growing to do during its live service evolution.
Haha, yeah, it's gonna evolve. It's gonna be around a long time. Signs of life.
Your squad will form a 5-person team of super-powered characters, each with their own unique strengths, weaknesses, and special abilities, and then bring them to bear against an opposing team in a variety of formulaic game modes. Those include a standard deathmatch mode, a kill-confirmed mode called Trophy Hunt, and a zone control mode called Clash Point, to name a few. None of which
we've seen this in other
the
games.
Slightest hint of novelty.
Just fine.
But being overly familiar isn't necessarily a bad thing if you've got best-in-class gunplay and awesome characters with compelling powers to back it up. And
there's no awesome characters here. None. There's none. Compelling powers, maybe. There's a person who is a vacuum. That's...
Concord has got both of those down pat.
I will say the limited game modes actually is very good, especially for a new game. You don't want too many, and especially one with that's having a hard time getting 100 people online. Too many would be worse.
Keeps its weapon selection very slim, with just 1 or 2 options given to each character by default, and no way to customize that. But the
sagely, he's using the word sagely. What? Like this is this amazing concept. Or fantastic design.
The upshot here is that every single weapon feels incredibly responsive and finely tuned.
I've heard the gunplay is pretty good.
Feel it all similar. The arena-controlling old lady Duchess wields the submachine gun that's devastating at close range, while the sneaky and tactical Veil mostly relies on this long-range sniper rifle to take out enemies from afar.
Okay.
While not all of these larger-than-life brawlers clicked with me immediately, like Cleaning Robot One-Off and his vacuum-based weapons that push and pull both enemies and gunfire around the map, or Baz and her knife-throwing and melee-focused ways. But given enough time with each of them, I was able to appreciate and even develop an affinity for this incredibly balanced and diverse roster of characters. All 16 options feel really good to use once you've figured out their tricks.
All 16. So yeah, there are 16 different characters. So there's a decent amount to figure out from the beginning. I mean, that does give a breadth of choice at least. But they're bad choices. Oh man, look at this. Looks like the Mrs. Freeze right here. The Mrs. Freeze from Suicide Squad. Who is this?
And combining them with the 4 other characters on your team to serve a specific purpose, whether it be charitable support character, DPS king, or damage absorbing tank, is a lot of fun to play around with. Similarly,
the gameplay looks very slow,
weapons are fantastic, diverse, and have very generous cooldowns, completely changing the way combat plays out depending on which character you're playing as. The floating fireball-chucking Haymar can blind opponents for a period of time.
This weapon looks terrible.
Pay for standing in the same spot too long.
To use.
While the rampaging ogre, Starchild, can close distances quickly with his charging attack and smash the ground to do heavy damage around.
I want to look at that again. I want to look at that charge attack again.
Close distances quickly with his charging attack and smash the ground.
That was horrible. That was terrible. That looked terrible.
Quickly with his charging attack and smash the ground to do heavy damage around him.
There isn't even like anything happening. He just smashed. There's no effect or anything. There's nothing. And why does he look so? Why is he changed? He zooms out after you've already done the attack, and there's nothing. There's nothing.
Heavy damage around him. Not all characters feel quite as original, like how Teo is the world's most generic soldier and
wait, is he saying that last guy was original? He's just the Hulk.
Equipped with a smoke grenade and cluster grenade as his 2 powers, but those bland options are few and far between. Plus, they serve as an easy starting point for newcomers.
This guy, the words this guy is using, it's like he's trying to paint a picture of something in your mind to trick you from what you're seeing. It's gaslighting, right? It's gaslighting.
And juggling the madness on the battlefield with top-notch gunplay was just as fun in my first match as it was in my 30th. And I certainly can't say I've felt that way about most hero shooters I've spent time with. You'll have to get comfortable with the roster too, because one of the few novel twists Concord brings
fire
to the
looked terrible.
Is the way it's competitive.
Wait, why can't you just walk through the fire?
One of the few novel twists Concord brings to the genre.
Okay, he got hurt. Oh, he lost his shield. Okay.
Called Rivalry works. Unlike
the fire looked terrible.
Playlists where you can choose whichever character.
Wait. What is this? Hold on a second.
To the genre is the way its competitive playlist called Rivalry works. Unlike the casual playlists, where you can choose whichever character you please, so long as someone else on your team hasn't already selected
That's normal, yeah.
In Rivalry, you cleverly aren't allowed to select the same character again if you win a round while using them.
Yes, indeed.
Since matches go to the best of 7 rounds, that means winning one will push you to get outside of your
best of 7,
zone.
so you could play 7 characters? That would be really annoying. Like, you can't use the same one twice?
And use a minimum of 4 different characters.
A minimum, yeah.
Is this a neat way to force people to master more
No,
than
I don't
just
like that at all.
Options?
It's an idea, but
communication with your team between rounds to ensure you've got proper coverage to play out whatever strategy you're trying to pull off.
Oh, so communication is key in a team shooter. How does that ever work in reality in games? Right? If you have one person that's just a lone wolf and you're in pubs, you're effed on that. And you better figure out the meta or you're going to be dunked on.
Options get slimmer. That choice is supported by another interesting wrinkle in Concord's character variants. Slightly different versions of existing characters that come with a unique perk and an altered appearance, which can be unlocked by completing specific objectives during
What was the alternate appearance?
For example, the gunslinger Lennox can normally reload his weapon by dodging, while the variant you can unlock for him loses that ability, but gets more ammo for all of his weapons instead. Though each variant
but wait,
Lennox,
I'm sorry, I've got to back this up.
In Concord's character
That's how he looks normal? Okay.
Variants. Slightly different versions of existing characters that come with a unique perk and an alternate.
What is different?
Slightly different versions
the eyes?
Of existing characters that come with a unique perk and an altered appearance.
I'm going to fast forward.
Loses that ability, but
so the idea, okay.
It's more ammo for all of his weapons instead.
So he gets more ammo, but he can't dodge and reload. this is another guy. It's not even the one he was talking about. Anyway, oh man, I'd rather, like, if you're gonna have like change, like it's just it's a skin color change, but it's minimal. That dude was minimal. His example was
mostly minor.
How could you really
changes,
tell?
They definitely provide a meaningful.
I'd rather
thing
they
to
just look
chase.
the same.
It offers more options in
you just
combat.
had to deal with it.
Perhaps more importantly, they also give you the opportunity to fudge the numbers a bit in rivalry, since variants count as separate characters on your crew, and therefore let you play as the same characters in multiple rounds.
That's an interesting feature that I
With
think
16 likable
in the end, if you're
front and
new, you're
center,
dealing with
you'd
30
think
variants,
story would be a
not
major
15.
Focus.
You're
But
learning
sadly,
30.
This is an area that's woefully lacking. With just 2 cutscenes right now to flesh out small bits of lore, Concord's strategy is to slowly drip feed players with short snippets of story over a long period of time.
That isn't going to work because no one's playing the game. And that's just true. And here's the thing, right? Their cinematics that they have going on, their cutscenes do look really good. Like, they've done a good job with them. However, this is a team shooter game, and to me, okay, this is my personal opinion, these are so unimportant. Like, this is the frosting on a cake, right? That's if the cake is bad, it doesn't matter about the frosting. You don't need this in a team shooter. It's so unimportant.
Subsidized by the Galactic Guide, a map filled with nodes where you can read about the locations and characters. I've spent a fair bit of time scrolling through this sizable library of short descriptions, and though much of it is well written, it's a pretty poor substitute for in-game storytelling that I worry won't come often enough to keep me invested. Great characters.
I really need you guys to release another couple of paragraphs, okay, to keep me invested in this game. No one cares about this. No, but what 1%? Maybe? Or less? But we know that this game's already catering to them.
Squandered by a complete lack of narrative is basically a hallmark of the hero shooter genre at this point. But it definitely doesn't matter if it's easier to swallow that especially bitter pill. If developer Firewalk sticks with building out the galaxy over time...
And what's funny is, like, that one of their best features is how good their cinematics are. That's the least important thing. I'm sorry. It's so unimportant in a hero shooter or just an online shooter. Could you imagine if Call of Duty released and, it has its issues, but its gunplay is generally pretty good and the maps, whatever. There's some good ones or some bad ones. But it's already popular, right? But imagine it just released garbage. But they're like, yeah, but the cinematics, we got a few of those. Those are really good, though.
It could end up being a major draw, but for now it's extremely thin.
A major draw?
Quite disconnected from the PvP action.
Stop talking about it.
Time with, and a pretty big waste of a cast that has lots of potential.
Set your expectations.
Why does it have a lot of potential?
Concord's game modes are much less inspired than its characters as well. Of the 6 currently available, none of them possess more than a modicum of originality.
There are 6 game modes. I thought there was like 3. 6 is too many. They don't have the player base. They're going to have to cycle these through if they aren't already.
For example, Signal Hunt is a King of the Hill mode
guarantee
where
you there's game modes with nobody in them.
Until it moves elsewhere. And Area Control is, well, a zone control mode where you fight over control of 3 static zones.
Okay.
While none of these milquetoast ideas are especially offensive, it certainly highlights a major issue with Concord, a lack of any signature game mode that sets this hero shooter apart.
I would think the arena mode is their signature and should be.
Love it or hate it, Overwatch's spin on its iconic escort mode made it a defining selling point, even if that idea was admittedly borrowed from Team Fortress 2
and it was so good in Team Fortress 2.
Concord has a handful of the world's most generic modes I intrinsically understood and was preemptively bored by before I even played them. That's a pretty big miss for a hero shooter that already badly lacks ways it sets itself apart.
So, the animations, watching the animations, they're not good either. Let's slow it down. Oh god, I have to watch this slower. Alright, watch the animations. Look at this guy. He's sliding around. His legs, I'm pretty... Listen to this guy slow. It's just worse than listening to a live one. Watch his legs. Watch him twist. They twist that... I can't listen to him anymore like this. I'm sorry. We're going back to full speed, but the animations aren't looking good at all. Their bottom half's on a swivel. It just swiveled. You see their top half? It's like I can't even, like, I'm gonna hurt my back. trying to show you this. Their top was like this. Their bottom went.
Which feature lots of zigs and zags, cover mechanics, complex pathing that requires spending time learning the map, and some routes that only more mobile characters can easily reach due to the pretty intense heights the vast majority of
intense
the
heights.
reach.
The words he's using are just... He's overselling the game. You're reviewing the game.
To Planet of Leviathan, you'll fight inside of giant dead sea creatures in the water hazard map and battle through labyrinthine hallways in the shock risk
The
map.
game doesn't look great. Oh, again, pause right on the fire. Like paused, of course, fire usually looks bad. But look how bad it looks in motion. Watch it again. Just watch.
Shock risk map. While on the dying planet of a car,
it doesn't. I don't feel like it matches the rest of the game.
Around the skeletal remains of some long-forgotten kaiju. Really, my only issue is that some of these maps are a tad larger than 5v5 combat calls for. That means it can take quite a long time to get back in the action after each respawn. Aside from that, though, I've had a great time figuring out the best paths and team strategies across each arena.
I mean, you have to have different size maps.
Concord isn't the most innovative or content-heavy hero shooter.
That gun sucks!
But with such fantastic competitive gameplay,
oh, I can't stand looking at it. Look at this.
And 12 well-designed maps, it's got the makings of something that could go
12 well-designed maps. The guy just talked about how some are too big.
The distance in the months and years to come.
No, it's not gonna be years. This guy.
In fact, it's a testament to its FPS chops that even while it has a virtually non-existent story and a
she's well made
for a signature game mode, I still found myself losing dozens of hours to its PvP charms. Hopefully, the live service roadmap will do its thing and show this promising shooter the love it needs to become something truly special.
And, yep,
right
and that
now,
person too.
It's at least good enough for me to recommend trying out.
God, this is what I'm talking 7. So what? Listening to him, you think maybe a 6, push a 7. But watching the game, watching it, look at this. Does anything look appealing on this screen? Anything? One thing look even appealing on this screen? No. I think that screen, this screen right here, is the epitome of IGN right now. They're lost.
For more, check out our recent reviews of Star Wars Outlaws and Black Wukong.
Goodness.
And for everything else,
oh, it's so
IGN.
Perfect that they just said those. That was pathetic. A 7. This game is not a 7. And you know how I know that? I'll show you how I know that, okay? When a game is good, when a game is truly good, when a game is good, this doesn't happen. And it's not even about the numbers. Pretend there's no numbers. This is release day. Release day, right? This is when the first wave of people come and buy and play your game. And what do? They go tell their friends. And these people come back on Saturday with their friends. And this goes up. This is 697, their peak, day 1. The peak on day 2 was 473. My friends, they lost a third. 1/3 of the people playing. And you can say, oh, it's Steam. Oh, it's Steam and the PlayStation numbers they are so much better. That is a bunch of garbage. Okay, they are not better. And I'm going to show you why they're not better right now. Ladies and gentlemen, this is PSN profiles. This is Concord. Okay. This site monitors over 6 million PSN accounts. 6 million. Do you know how many of those 6 million people own Concord? You can see it right there. 1,190. Now, I know there's more than 6 million people on PlayStation. But you could say it's 10 times that. You could say it's 60 million. So, first takedown. How many people have killed one person in this game? 1,155 people out of 6 million have this achievement. That's how many people have played a game. Out of the 6 million, that this site looks at. That's how many people have played a game. Okay? Unless someone went over and they played one game and never killed a person in the game. 1,155. The game is dead on PSN too. It's dead. And I don't care what you have to say. I know people are here and they're, oh no, it's so good. No, it's not. No one's playing. They're not playing on PSN. They're not playing over on Steam. No one's playing this game. The game's dead on arrival. Dead. Okay? Now, let's take a look at the review. The Concord review, a 7. We just saw this. Travis did it, okay? Travis Northup. Some other games Travis reviewed. One is Skull and Bones, a 7. We know for a fact this game was hot garbage coming out the gate. It's still hot garbage. No one liked this game. This game was terrible. From beginning to end. There was very little to like. What else? Got a 7 recently? Star Wars Outlaws. I have this game. I've played this game. This game is not a 7. It's not. It's a 5. It is a 5. And I highly suggest you don't pay $70 for it. Don't get it at all. And if you really feel like you absolutely have to play it, you go get that Ubisoft Plus premium garbage. You buy it for 1 month for $20 and you cancel it. Immediately. That's what I did. What else did they rate a 7? Dustborn. This game is hot garbage. It's hot garbage. You can say, it's a narrative thing. You can say it's just, the right-wingers don't like it or DEI or blah, blah, blah. This game is hot garbage. The gameplay is bad. The voice acting is bad. The cinematics are bad. The writing is terrible. It's just horrible. Okay? And they gave it a 7. Flintlock. A 7. Are you kidding me? A 7. Flintlock's a 5 or a 6. The 6 is pushing it. This game is bland as it gets. If I went to McDonald's to order something like Flintlock, I'd be like, please give me a hamburger with absolutely nothing on it and half of a bun. This game is awful. And let's look at this. Black Myth Wukong. This game's a 9.5 or a 10. This game's phenomenal. It's a phenomenal game. The combat isn't for every single person out there. Some people won't like it, but this game is a phenomenal game with fantastic graphics. The writing is super interesting. The gameplay is great. It's varied. The enemy, there's so many enemies in here. It's varied. It's great. But somehow, what is the gap between a 7 and an 8? What is going on at IGN? What are they doing? Okay? IGN has gone out and they have sold their credibility. Because this is what I believe is happening. This is Sony. This is Ubisoft. This is Ubisoft. This is a game that they feel bad for. And this is a game they feel bad for. Okay? And this is a Chinese game that they ran a hit piece on. Ubisoft has no credibility anymore. None. People have played Skull and Bones. People are playing Outlaws. People have played Concord. People have played Dustborn, only a couple. People played Flintlock. These are bad. These are not good. But somehow it's a 7 and then an 8. Get a life. Not to mention that IGN continues to post things about Wukong to try to pretend like the past never happened. They want people to come and click on their stuff and see their coverage of a popular game. Once again, I implore you to freeze out IGN on Wukong. Don't click on a damn thing for them. Okay, everybody, if you haven't already, do me a huge favor and click the like button on this video. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And let me know what you think about IGN and how they've been acting lately with reviews. And they've been like this for a while, let's be honest. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Until the next time, I love you, mean it. Peace. Bye, everybody.